Hello and welcome to another video on my channel. Today we're looking at this big boy from Volkswagen. So we're looking at 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. This is a massive SUV that I'm gonna demonstrate throughout this video. And what I like about this SUV is that everything is big. Just recently I've reviewed Mazda CX-70, which size-wise is almost the same. CX-70 has only 2 rows of seats, and CX-90 has the third one like this Atlas, but the size-wise it's the same. But what I've noticed is with the CX-70, although a really big car, there wasn't a lot of storage, big compartments that you can store stuff when you're traveling with your family, because this can seat 7 people, so you would imagine that you need big storages inside this car. So we're gonna check the interior, we're gonna check the exterior, we're gonna see how much space we have, and then we're gonna test drive this big boy. Okay, let's check outside first. As you can see, enormous SUV. This in particular painted in this platinum gray metallic color, really big. So let's check the front. So we have this big black grille with a big Volkswagen emblem in the middle. We have LED daytime running lights, LED adaptive headlights, and that's something that's standard across the board. I forgot to mention, this is the Comfortline, so this is an entry level for this Atlas. We have 4 trims, and the starting price for this one is $52,260 Canadian dollars. It's a lot of money, but you get a lot of car, right? And some standard features for this one, although the entry level, it's really impressive, but I'm gonna talk about those a bit later. So the first thing that's standard are those adaptive LED headlights, which means at night when you're turning, the headlights are gonna follow where your steering wheel goes. Looking at these tires, these are Miami machined alloy wheels, 18-inch in size. Nexon winter tires, 245/60/18. We have turn signals embedded in the mirrors. These are not automatically, they don't automatically fold when you lock the car, so you're gonna have to manually fold them. If you want to have that feature, you're gonna have to go a few trims up. Fuel cap, this car takes 87 regular unleaded fuel, which is really nice. Back we have LED taillights with this LED bar that illuminates all across this tailgate. We have the Volkswagen emblem, Atlas in the middle, and 4Motion. You have power tailgate, which is nice. When you have all 3 rows of seating up, you don't get a lot of storage, but still you can fit a bigger suitcase here without any issues. Underneath here we have a spare tire, which is underneath this foam with your jack, some storage area there. You have these anchor points for the netting, and as well you have it in those corners as well, which we're gonna see once we fold these seats. You have some of these hooks if you want to put something there. Okay, so before I fold these seats, I want to show you the space in the back in the third row, and then we're gonna check the space of that trunk once those seats are folded. So I'm gonna sit here this side first to show you the space. So this is me sitting behind my sitting position. I'm 183 centimeters or 6 feet tall, and I have quite a lot of knee room, huge amount of headroom, really spacious cabin. You're gonna be able to sit 3 adults in this back seat in the second row without any issues. You have your vents and you have your AC controls here. So this car comes with a 3-zone climate control, so 1 for the driver, 1 for the passenger, and 1 for the second row here, which is really nice. You have this armrest in the middle with few cup holders. You have pockets behind both passenger and driver side, which is really nice. No panoramic or sunroof in this model. Okay, looking at the doors, so we can see that we have this Titan black color. These are not the leather seats, but they're covered in leatherette, but really nice material, soft, comfortable seats to be in. On the door panel, we can see that we have this like wood styling panel, silver door handles, some storage area here, and a lot of area for any kind of, for the storage. Right here you have your controller for the windows. They go all the way down. This is something that your kids are gonna love. Okay, let's check this third row and the space inside. So keep in mind, so I'm 6 feet tall, 183 centimeters. I just need to watch the camera. It's not that easy to come in, but get in, but it's okay. So there you have it. I still have a little bit of knee room, but keep in mind that this seat is tilted back a little bit, but I still can sit here. I wouldn't be comfortable for a long journey, but I guess any journey up to 1 hour I would have no problem sitting here. As you can see here, we have some storage area here, some cup holders, 12-volt socket here, 2 USB-C ports here, and all the connectivity is on the left side behind the driver. On the right side you have some storage area here, some cup holders, but no USB-Cs. And I forgot to mention, down there you have 2 USB-C ports as well. So as I said, really big car, and again, I have no problems sitting in the third row whatsoever, and someone of my size or someone even taller, bigger, can sit in this seat in front without any issues. Okay, so let's now, I just need to watch my head. Okay, let's fold these seats, the third row, and okay, yeah, it's good, and see how much cargo space you have. Oops, my bad. When you fold third row. So you just need to pull this lever up, and that's it. Look at all that space. I mean, we can move these seats to maximize the space all the way back. I'm not gonna be able to do it for this one. I'm gonna have to go on the other side, but huge trunk. I mean, now we're talking about several big cases in the back with ease. Before we jump inside, let's just check this engine. For 2024 Atlas, you have only one engine choice. This Atlas is powered by 2-liter TSI turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that's producing 269 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque, and it's powered with the 8-speed automatic gearbox, and the drivetrain is 4-motion or all-wheel drive. We can see that this engine sits really low, and there's still quite a lot of room for a bigger engine, so I don't know why Volkswagen is doing that here in North America, where you only have one engine option. Talking about North America and Chinese market, you're gonna have Atlas. If you're looking for this particular car, it's gonna be Thermont in Europe and other regions, but basically the same car, same specs, just in Europe and other regions you're gonna have several different options when it comes to the engine. Let's check the inside from the passenger seat. It's a really big cabin, as I mentioned already, a lot of room. These seats are really comfortable, and as you can see, there's a lot of support, so you will enjoy your long rides. Decent size glove box here, you can stuff a lot of things. I like this wood finish design. It brings the level of elegance in this car. Big sun visors, LED lights for the interior lighting, and at night when these lights are on in front and in the back, it's like sitting in a living room. It really lights up this cabin really bright. Coming to the middle of the dashboard, we have this big 12-inch display that is touch, and again, big buttons, so it's easy to control. It's when you're driving, you won't spend a lot of time looking where it is, and they're really big, so you won't have any problems just selecting whatever you want. So let's check, for example, the vehicle. Here you can control your exterior lights, tires, headlights, interior, cockpit, ambient lighting. This car does not have like ambient lights. For that you need to go a trim up, but let me just show you this. In the headlights you have dynamic cornering light, which is the adaptive headlights. You can turn it off if you want, but I think it's a great feature to have. So status is going to give you the oil level, service tire pressure, and this is where you can turn on and off your engine start stop system if you want. The second option is to swipe down, and this is where you have start stop, so there's no physical button here like we're used to. Again, really big. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and if you go, I believe, the third or second to last trim, which is Highline R-Line in Canada, you're gonna have the built-in navigation as well. Here you have some touch buttons for your volume and your control and your temperature. Underneath here you have 4 touch buttons are really, they're tactile, so they're gonna give you a feedback when you press them. So climate controls, what I like, again, although they're not physical, they're really big and they're easy to use. Also, one of the features I find really useful is the smart climate, where depending on what you need, you can just click clear view, warm feet, warm hands, cool feet, and the car is just gonna set up the climate for you. We have the modes. We have Eco, Comfort, Sport, Custom, Off-Road, Snow. You have your parking assist, so we only have the rear view camera. No 360. You have to go trim up. And you have your assist on the road, where you have your adaptive cruise control, lane keep system, lane change system, front assist, emergency assist. You can turn it on and off with ease. Okay, here underneath this you have 2 USB-C. You have your wireless charger for your phone that you can hide just like that and have this seamless design. You have 2 cup holders, your start stop for the engine. Before I move, this is how the key fob looks. It's really sleek design. I really like it. Lock, trunk, unlock, remote start. On this trim you don't have it. If you go one trim up, you're gonna have a remote start as included. Keyless entry. So moving back to the central console, so your start stop engine button, your for parking, your gear selector. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this design. You have your parking brake button here, and as I said, there's no physical button for start stop system. You have to turn it on and off using this system here. We have some storage area here, and then huge, massive storage area here in the central console, really big, which I really like. And then we have some area here, so quite a lot of storage inside this car, which I really appreciate, which I really like. So looking at the steering wheel, this is leatherette. Again, it's not a leather steering, but covered in a leatherette, which feels like leather. Really light steering, making this big SUV easy to maneuverable, right? You have your controls for your display, which we're gonna check in a sec, and on the left side you have controls for your adaptive cruise control. It's gonna steer for you. It's a really good system. It's gonna steer for you if you want. It does a really good job of keeping you centered in the lane, and it's gonna ask you every 10 seconds to put your hands on the steering wheel. And then on the left side you're gonna control the volume for your music. Moving to the right, here you can change your songs, and then this area here you have your steering heating for your steering wheel, 3 levels of heating. And then here you can change this display. So this is 10.25 inch display featuring Volkswagen Digital Pro cockpit, highly customizable. So first you can select how you want to have this screen. So by pressing this button, view here, you're gonna have several different layouts. I like this. I always like to see these like analog style gauges. And then using this button here, you can configure what you see in this left screen here, or when pressing this right button here, then you're gonna be able to see and change what you want to display in that display there. Really bright, both screens are really bright, so you won't have any issues with seeing at any lighting condition. On the left side here you have your automatic headlight switch, so you can select, but I always leave it at the auto. And then you have for the front windshield and for the rear if you want to defrost it. Again, everything is in your reach. It's facing driver, which is always good, and it's accessible. It's easy to control this car. And I also forgot to mention that you have these pedal shifters if you wanna play with it. Okay. On the door panel here you have the controls for your windows. As I mentioned, all four of them, they go down or up with only one click. And then you have your controller for your mirrors, which are quite big, which gives you great visibility. And you have your parking blind spot monitors on the left, in the left top corner. One thing I don't like in this car is this reverse camera. It's not high resolution. Still, you have these guidelines that are not static. They're gonna show you where you're going. You also have your parking sensors front and the back, which makes it a lot easier to park this big car. I would love if Volkswagen put 360 camera as standard across the board, which would be really great considering the size of this car. Okay, let's test drive it and talk a little bit more about the engine, about the fuel consumption, and how does it feel to drive this 2024 Atlas. As I mentioned earlier, the steering wheel is really light, and it makes it easier to maneuver and to drive this big car, especially in tight spaces. Engine 2-liter on this size of the SUV. I don't know. 269 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. It's not fast SUV, but again, it's gonna speed up. You won't have any problems merging onto a highway. It's smooth. It's a linear power delivery. Brakes are also good. Only when braking you kind of feel the size of this car, but when accelerating it kind of feels light, right? And also what I've noticed is when you're accelerating, it feels like you're driving pretty fast and accelerates pretty fast, but in reality 0 to 100 you're looking about 8.5 seconds. Again, it's impressive for the size of the car, but it's not meant to be driven fast. This is meant to, for long drives, just to cruise. It's really smooth. The engine is quiet. The ride is quiet. It's comfortable. So this is what this car was built for. Consumption. City 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers. Not so sure. I've been driving it for quite some time now, and I was averaging always around 13 to 14 liters. So 13.5 to 14 to be more precise. Highway 9.2. I think you can bring that down even lower, right? Fuel tank capacity 70 liters. MPGs, for my viewers from the USA, city 19.3 mpgs, highway 25.5 mpg, and the tank capacity is 18.5 gallons. Mazda, for example, I'm gonna compare with the Mazda because that's one of the SUVs that I tested recently. Mazda CX-70 had 3.3 liter engine, and the consumption was much better. City, it was 9.9 compared to this 12.2. That's a pretty big difference. But this one has a lot more room, a lot more storage area inside, which people with bigger families are gonna appreciate that. MSRP for this base model, 52,260 Canadian dollars, and the top trim is 62,260 dollars, so $10,000 difference. I think that this base model is everything that you need. So as I mentioned, regardless of the trim, you're gonna still have the same engine, you're still gonna have the same gearbox, you're still gonna have the same 4Motion 4-wheel drive. The only thing that changes when it comes to the trims are the features and the technology that you have inside. So you're getting panoramic sunroof. Some people don't like it. It can cause some issues if you're not taking good care of it and not cleaning it. 360 camera is one of the things that I would love to see, especially with the size of the car. It would be so much easier when parking, when in tight spaces and whatnot. Other than that, other features that you're gonna get if you go with the higher trims is gonna be like ambient lighting, which it's cool to have, but again, nothing will change, or you won't have any impact if you don't have it, right? Head-up display, again, this display is big, bright, displays all the information that you need. So again, I don't know, some people might like it. For me personally, makes no difference. All that to say is, if you opt to go with this entry level, you get great value for your money. Also, these seats, I forgot to mention, front seats are both ventilated and heated for the entry level. That's great. If you go a trim up, the back seats are gonna be heated as well. But again, for $52,000, what you get in an entry level, great deal, great value for your money. And as you can see, really quiet. I'm currently at 105 kilometers per hour. Current consumption is averaging around 6 liter. Quiet, engine is quiet, you can't hear it. Road noise from these tires, really minimal, really comfortable, really relaxing car to drive. So I mentioned one thing that I don't like, which is the parking camera. The second thing I don't really like is, if I put this into sport mode, is the engine noise. It feels and it sounds fake, at least in my opinion. I'm just gonna get some distance here. Listen. I don't know. I don't like it. And again, it's just personal opinion, personal taste, right? And as I mentioned, in my opinion, this car is not built and is not meant to be driven fast, but it's built for comfort, for if you have a bigger larger family with more family members, and you want to take a long trip, if you go with this car, it's gonna be great. Comfortable, it's gonna eat up those miles with ease, and you won't even feel it. Like the interior design, really simplistic. This, as I mentioned, this wood-like panel brings up that luxury feel, and everything is there. Big controls for AC, easy to use. The display, the system, the Volkswagen infotainment system is easy to use, simple. So really great car. Ride is smooth, suspension is soft, so even driving on these bad Montreal roads, you'll be okay. So this is a rough patch. Nothing like suspension really absorbs all the bumps, all the potholes, all the uneven pavement with ease. Down and just goes. And to be honest with you, in this comfort mode, I like the sound of the engine better than in sport. But again, that's just me and my opinion. There's some body roll, nothing major considering the size of this car. I'm gonna pull up here and give you the final thoughts on this 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. Okay. Big mirrors, which makes it easy to park. And you can hear the parking sensors. Put it in parking. When you turn off your car, it's gonna give you the details of your trip that you just took, and also it's gonna give you the reminder to check if you took everything from the car, if there's anyone sitting in the back that you somehow forgot. So, final thoughts. For $52,000, you get a lot. Great features, even for this entry-level Atlas. In my opinion, there's no need to go higher up on the trim level. You have everything that you need in this entry level. Looks great, has the presence, comfortable ride, smooth ride. The only thing is consumption. It's not as fuel efficient as some other competitors, but overall really great family SUV. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the video, please like and consider subscribing to this channel, my channel, which is gonna help me quite a lot. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.